Welcome to Life in a Body You Love, Chicks. I have the most amazing guest for you guys today. I'm so excited to have Debbie here to chat with us. If you have been paying attention, you might have seen her around the Simplified Fat Loss group. If you're in Keep It Off, you've definitely seen her because she is now one of our Keep It Off Academy coaches. And we're so lucky to snag her because she's really freaking smart and she's really freaking good at what she does. And so
too kind.
I knew you were going to be all about it. But she's got all kinds of wisdom that she's going to share with you ladies. So what's interesting is her and I have, so the best I can tell, pretty much identical philosophies about health, but we arrived where we are from a very different place. And so I think the perspective that she's going to give you guys today is going to be super enlightening. And so I'm really excited to dive in. So Debbie, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah. And Debbie has this nice, cute, normal background. And as you guys can see, I'm at the Haunted Mansion again. So if you're watching us on video, that's why there's creepy things going on behind me. And you may hear a bunch of dogs barking, but we're rolling with it today.
Really?
So Debbie, why don't you start off by telling everybody kind of like what got you on this journey of being a health coach?
Well, that is a great question. So I have been doing healthy things my whole life. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but when I would say I had a pretty normal childhood, but I had a lot of really healthy fitness behaviors modeled in my house. So that was, what I grew up seeing, which I think is a good thing to a point. And then I went away to college and I gained the typical freshman, I don't know, freshman 10, freshman 15, we'll just call it freshman weight. And
like freshman 15 for sure.
Yeah. So, that was the point where, as a kid, as a teenager, I was active, doing sports and activities, just kind of, daily life active. And then you go to college, you gain a little bit of weight, get some hormonal things going on. And then I was like, okay, I got to start working out. So I threw myself into it. And I just, if you're in my age group, the Stairmaster. And that was my equipment of choice. And so I was big on the Stairmaster, and there was something else that you climbed. I don't remember what that was called. Similar concept, a lot of cardio machines. And then, I also started doing some running outside, running inside on treadmills, to just, a lot of cardio, just trying to kind of dial it back, and not really a whole lot with nutrition. I still ate like, your normal 18, 19-year-old, I guess normal 19-year-old in the 90s. And I don't know what normal 19-year-olds eat like now. But just, that sort of like really gave me that little fitness bug. And I felt good. I felt good working out. I liked it. And it just became something that I started doing. And it just became part of my daily activities. And I think it was all well and good. Lots of cardio, not a lot of weight training, but just as part of my life. And, I went along as a young adult, as a mom, still kind of fitting it in and, adding different things. I tried different kinds of classes, different kinds of fitness, but really at the heart of it, I was a runner. I became a runner. I wasn't always a runner. I became a runner. And then, as time went on and you get the messages from everywhere, TV, family, relationships, friends, everything that you see, hear, and do about, you start to about food, and, you have pregnancies, you try and lose pregnancy weight, like all of these things play in. And then, so along with, doing the exercise, which was always, a fit and healthy thing, there then became this play of like food, and, you're at work and then everyone's doing the cabbage soup diet. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I'm going to try that. And I didn't necessarily have like, weight to lose, but are we ever really happy with how we look? Right? Like, do we ever like look at ourselves and be like, yeah, I'm I'm really good. No, it's
That's
like
a whole podcast episode in itself.
right. There's always like that next thing. So, yeah, I'll do that cabbage soup diet. Oh, we're going to do this master cleanse. We're going to drink, water with lemon. And I don't even remember what was in there.
Maybe
Cayenne
some
pepper.
cayenne
Yeah,
pepper.
let's do that. Let's do that. So it's just like always, trying these little things to achieve. I'm not even sure what to achieve the next thing. And, but I wouldn't say disordered eat. Well, I would say I had an interesting relationship with food. I really like to eat. I consider myself a foodie. I love good food. But at the same time, I could hop onto, a lot of different crazy things, for a little bit of time. Just, I don't know. I feel like I was an experiment. Like I treat my body like a little bit of an experiment all the time and just see like, oh, if I do this, what does this do? But for the most part, just kind of plugging along like that. And as I said, fitness and healthy living was really modeled in my house. And my dad was a big exerciser. He swam, and he would go swimming every morning, like crack of dawn before work. And that's just what he did. There were no, we'll call it no days off. So that was also modeled for me, like no days off. And he always was kind of, came across as very fit, very healthy. And again, plugging along, I have a pretty normal life. I like to do cardio. I was a teacher for many years, a stay-at-home mom, raising my kids, doing my cardio, trying weird diets, all kinds of things, but mostly eating like a normal person. And, then as my late 40s start to approach, things start getting interesting in my body, and the things that I always didn't necessarily have the same kinds of results anymore. And that got me thinking like, okay, something's up. So I just, started to kind of dig in and try and learn more. And I was learning a lot of things that made really good sense, but not necessarily willing to give up the things that I felt like I needed to keep doing. So there's that. Then in that same time frame, that same area, we're empty nesting, it's all good. And then in early 2020, my dad passed away very suddenly. So he had, again, what we would consider a very fit and healthy lifestyle, but did many things excessively. So not just exercise excessively, but he worked excessively. He ate excessively. I mean, he was trim. He looked healthy. He looked healthy. He looked super fit, from the outside, but he had a mild heart condition, and he did not care. He's just doing what he's doing, and he's going to keep doing the things. And so he died very suddenly, and that rocked my world, like completely shook me. So I'm like, okay, if that isn't the most eye-opening thing, I mean, obviously I was grieving. It was a really tough time, but it made me look at health and fitness and how we look on the outside and maybe how we think we feel in a whole different way. It just gave me a whole different perspective. And, first there was like the hermit and the grieving, but then once things, started to, I have to start living my life and kind of processing everything. Oh, and then I should add that was January of 2020. So then everything got interesting for everybody in March. So I was like hermiting, and, I was quarantining myself just emotionally for really most of February. And then lo and behold, so was everybody else.
Everybody got put in a timeout.
Yeah. And I always say, I kind of look back and I say, had I known that I was going to have so much, alone time, I probably would have done a little bit more back in February when I could have, but clearly, who knew? So yeah, so that rolls around, and then I got, a lot of time on my hands, got both my kiddos home. We are having a lot of family time. And I also had, a lot of time. So it was nice because I only had what I had here, which obviously I could still run and do cardio things, but I was doing less and less just sort of to protect my body and just kind of exploring some different things. I started doing a lot more yoga. I also teach yoga, but I started doing a lot more yoga just at home, without heat, without like excessive sweating, with just kind of more gentle yoga. I was walking, every day. And I noticed that I felt different and I looked different. And I was like, okay, there might be something to this. And at the
So they
same
were
time,
positive changes that you
yes, really good ones. Yes. And I was, because I wasn't killing myself physically. And we were eating like really good family meals, and I was really, I think, nourishing myself in a different way. And I was noticing inside and out, some good things. So that was really, that was a piece of it. Then I got all this time on my hands, and I'm like, you know what? I just think there's something here. Like, we look healthy on the outside. We think we feel good. And that's the other piece. I have come to learn over the years that I don't even think that most of us know what it feels like to feel good. That
100%.
we don't even, like, we walk around, we think how we feel. Like, I mean, we know when we don't feel great, like we know when we feel sick, or, we've overdone something, or we're super tired. But I think for the most part, we just plug along and we feel good. Yeah, we feel all right. Like, and we think that's the baseline. But really, our baselines, I think, are so skewed. And we have this capability to feel amazing, but we don't even know what that feels like.
Absolutely.
And yeah. And that just sort of all of this, all like this perfect storm, all of these things just, together, I was like, I need to share this. I need to help other people figure this out. So that, that became the path where, I decided I needed to branch out. I needed to start coaching. I needed to help people discover this place, for themselves, and support them in doing so.
I love that so much. So yes, this is a complete contrast because nothing healthy was modeled in my home. Nothing. I love my parents. If they're listening, I'm not even talking crap. But I'm an 80s baby, and I came from a two working parent household. And so it was like food came out of a box. That's what happened in the 80s. It was convenience food. Vegetables came out of a can. Fry Daddy lived on the counter. So you had the Stairmaster because of the era we were in. I had the Fry Daddy because of the era we were in. I'm sure some of the listeners are like, yeah, the Fry Daddy. That stayed on the counter. And so it's interesting, before we started pushing record, you were saying how people are either on one extreme or the other. You're like into fitness and everything has to be perfect and it's go, go, go. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like there's no rest, work out every day, as much cardio as you can, live off lettuce. And then you have people who are on the other extreme, which is where I was raised, which is like you watch TV and eat popcorn every night. It's fine. It doesn't really matter what you look like. And I came from people who naturally stayed lean, the females anyways. But then my weight caught up with me way earlier than it did for my mom. Like, she didn't have any issues until like menopause. I started having issues in like my 30s. And I was like, oh, I was always lean. I didn't know anything about how to lose weight. I was just like, oh, so I have to eat less food now? Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
This is terrible.
That was 19-year-old me. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. And so it's interesting that we both arrived at the same place. I went through my aggressive fitness phase, and I still love aggressive things. I just now know what it's doing to my body. Like, I love doing Spartan races and CrossFit and all these things, but like my specific genetic makeup can't handle that as a daily grind. I did it for about 2 years before it caught up with me. I was fine for like 2 years. And then it was like crash and burn.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Yeah. I was just talking about this with somebody, and I was talking about running, and, I said, I love to run. Like, I love it. It's not even the runner's high when I'm done. I actually like it while I'm doing it.
I love it and hate it while
Yes.
it's happening.
Yes. But, it's something that I have it's a piece of my life. It's a piece of my routine that I've had to let go of because it wasn't serving my body anymore. It was a stress. It was a stress on my body, and my body was saying no in lots of different ways.
Yes. And so tuning into that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For
I
sure.
love that. And you're right. It really, health comes down to more than just like what you physically look like. You can't tell how healthy a person is just by appearance sake, because there are extremes.
Oh yeah. There, there are people that just, come by it naturally and honestly, like we just maybe naturally you look lean. And there are people that are doing really, really healthy and wonderful things. And, they're eating their protein, they're moving their bodies, they're doing all the things. And maybe they have some other, stressors or genetic factors or lifestyle things in their life that are just, working against them. Sometimes we have some cards stacked against us, and we have to, I don't want to say do a little bit more. We have to do it a little bit differently. And that's
what it is.
Yeah. And that's been the biggest piece of my journey. And also supporting women in their journeys it's almost like a fun little puzzle. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's not that fun, but it's definitely a puzzle to figure out, what are the pieces that need to come together for you to make it work for you. Like, what are your tools? We all have hopefully we all have many tools in our toolbox. It's kind of figuring out which are the right ones. And some people need to move a little bit more. Some people need to move a little bit less. Some people need to eat more. Some people do need to eat less, but most people need to eat more.
Most women who are trying to lose weight.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
You've seen, now that you've been in the Keep It Off Academy with us for a bit, almost all of our clients in the Keep It Off Academy right now, it seems, all need more food.
Yeah.
It goes in waves. Sometimes we'll get people who it's like, oh, you don't need more or less food, but you need different food. That's common as well.
Yes, that is very, very true.
It's like, don't just eat less. You don't need less. You're eating the right amount. We have to shift what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we have a ton of women who have chronically under eating because of the whole eat less, move more mindset that we all have.
Totally.
Yeah. Even as a nurse and even doctors that I work with, and we are all taught it's calories in, calories out. So go do your cardio and eat your salads.
Yeah,
and it's like
definitely.
that.
No, it definitely, and it's still, I wouldn't say, maybe it is daily. It's still a struggle. Like, I still have these times where, I'm eating my food and it comes the end of the day and I'm like, wow, I ate a lot today. Maybe I should eat less tomorrow. Like, you still can get into that mindset. But what has helped me a lot, and I think this is a really useful tool, and I think this is why it's so important to have a program or a coach, or some sort of accountability or level of support, is just this idea of, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So, right. So when I was approached with, overcome with, or just having the feelings, the thoughts and the feelings of, oh, maybe I need to eat less today. Maybe I need to work out more today, just to kind of combat or compensate for, what I did or did not do the day before. I know, rationally, in my rational brain, I know that does not need to happen. So that's why it's so important to have, a coach or a program or some level of accountability or support alongside you, and a plan that you can just default to, and you don't have to, be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, because of X, Y, or Z yesterday, I need to do X, Y, or Z differently today. No, you don't. No, you don't. You just need to do whatever you're supposed to do on Tuesday. Like Monday's done. Whatever happened Monday is over. And you just have to make your next best choice. And if you have a plan and you have a coach, that choice is probably already laid out for you. So you don't really even have to think about it. You don't have to have this whole like internal dialogue and conflict. You just, okay, oh, it says today I'm going to eat, this much protein. I'm just going to do it. And it says today I'm going to do my strength training workout. Great. I'm going to do that. Oh, it says today's a rest day. Cool. I guess today's a rest day. And you have the tools, and then you also have that support. And it takes that conflict and that urge to do things that are not necessary and are not helpful. It just takes it right out of the equation. So I think, I know that's been a really, 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 important and useful strategy for me, is just having this default where I don't have to punish myself or make up for anything. I just do the thing I'm supposed to do and just move on from there.
I love that so much. There's so much gold in this one sentence. So, first of all, ladies, you can't just wing it.
Nope.
I'm going to eat healthy is not a weight loss plan. I'm going to work out is not a weight loss plan. That is not specific enough. Because you're busy and you have your own brain to contend with. And if you don't have very simple things, action steps to take, it's not going to happen. And when people come up with their own plans, they make them way too aggressive. And we chase after these red herrings. So like if you're eating McDonald's every single day, but you're Googling what the best fasting protocol is, I'm here to tell you, here's a free pro tip. You're not ready for that yet. There are other things we need to do first, but like you said, your family tells you things. Your coworkers tell you things, like everybody's in your ear all the time, the media, whatever. And it's this one food is the way, or you have to be vegan, or you have to, and it's always these like outlandish things. And it's like, that's so not what you need for where you're at. So you need strategy that makes sense. And that's
for you,
you. And that's really simple to follow. So there's one whole benefit. But then what Debbie just really highlighted beautifully is trusting the process. I think that's what I get from what you're saying is like, the scale's going to go up one day and it has literally nothing to do with what you did the day before at all. Even if it does have to do with what you did the day before. So let's say you went out and you had like a beer and some bar food and your scale goes up like 6 pounds. You didn't gain 6 pounds of fat. You gained inflammation and you ate more carbs and more salt, probably, which will both shoot the scale up, and it's not fat at all. And then you're like, well, I got to eat less food today. No, just don't eat fried cheese sticks and a craft beer from the bar. Don't default to like, oh, I got to live off lettuce today. But and I say this mockingly, but I'm mocking myself too, ladies. So my brain does it too. You have to have a process to trust that works. So Debbie, you told me before we started recording, you mixed up your activity. You changed the type of activity, the frequency of the activity. It's less aggressive than what you used to do. And you're eating more food. And these were all things that you already knew because you've been studying this for the past few years. You already knew this, but you weren't doing it because knowing and doing are two different things, even for coaches, which is why you need somebody in your corner. You don't have to you don't got to give away your whole plan, but highlight the results that you've had.
Yeah. Well, just to backtrack a little bit, I love what you said about trusting the process, because what that highlighted for me is like, okay, like I have trust issues.
But you're doing it.
I'm doing it. But I think that, a lot of along the way is that I really did not trust that changing things up would work. That, and so it's been a little bit of letting go and just kind of leaning into it that has finally cracked the code for me right now. So yeah, so a
Because
little
here's what happens is, and you know this because we put women on a plan that's solid. It's based on science. It's exactly what their body needs, matches their schedules beautifully. This is the most perfect plan for this human. There's no one size fits all perfect plan, but there are perfect plans for you and where you are. You can give somebody the most beautiful plan, but it's getting them to trust the process long enough to see the result. And when they do, this is why I love our Friday check-ins in our group in the Keep It Off Academy. Did you see it this Friday?
Amazing.
78 comments last time I looked.
Yeah.
These women are just like,
they are killing it.
It's insane. But my favorite thing is the women who I watched struggle for the first 4 weeks or so. Now they're coming out like they're on week 12, week 13, or maybe they've even been with us for longer. And they're like, you guys, trust the process. I cannot tell you how happy I am that they didn't let me quit. Like when I was so mad that the scale wasn't doing what I wanted in 1 week, I would normally quit. Or I would change my plan. And it was like, okay, fine. I trust you guys. I paid to be here. There's something to put in your money where your mouth is too. And I've seen other results. Okay, fine. What you're saying makes sense. I guess I'll stick with it. And then they always come back and say, I'm so glad when I didn't trust myself or my body, I had a plan to follow that I could trust. And so I just showed up and did the things. And I had one lady tell me, I really seriously didn't think that it was going to work, what you were telling me to do. But I did it anyways. And in the back of my mind, I was like, it's either going to work and I'm going to look amazing, or I'm going to get to say, I told you so to Nikki. And I'm okay with either one. So I'm just going to do it.
Fantastic. That's beautiful.
Whatever motivates you, I don't even care. But you have to trust the process. And this is why I've hired health coaches for myself as well. I know when I have to back off and do some things for my body, I had to let myself for the last year run at a higher percentage of body fat than where I'm comfortable because my nervous system and my immune system needed that. Also because I didn't realize my iron was in the toilet and I couldn't figure out why I was so tired. I had things I needed to work out before losing the fat could take precedent. And that's a very hard thing to do when you're a weight loss coach.
Yeah.
Running thicker than I like here. And so I needed people in my corner to just give me objectivity. It wasn't things I didn't know. Scientifically, I understood it. I needed somebody to be objective with me.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a big long tangent.
No, it's a perfect tangent because it's exactly, I think we all are that way. It's kind of having someone in your corner, having that support, but then also having a little bit of faith, and being able to stick with it and being able to play the long game and, just, yeah, like you said, making a few changes where I am doing less intensity. I'm also doing less frequency in my exercise, but I am walking every day.
Good old undervalued walking.
If someone told me, I would say if someone told me 10 years ago, if someone told me 5 years ago, if someone even told me 2 years ago that I would be walking instead of running, I would have said, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know me.
Getting leaner by doing it.
Yes.
Not only did you think you wouldn't do it, but who would have thunk that would make you lose weight and get leaner?
That's going to shrink my menopause belly. I don't think so. But now I say that's going to shrink your menopause belly. Sign me up. Sign me up. Yeah. So yeah, it's been really interesting. And then, obviously there's the things that come along with that. Well, there was, the initial is like, I'm doing it. I might be a little bit like your client that was like, okay, I'm going to do this and either it's going to work or I'm going to be like, didn't think it would.
Did everything you told me. And I told you that this was
I told you so. But so and the first few weeks, I was like, I don't know, it's I'm just going to keep doing the things. I'm just going to keep doing the things. I have to give it time. And so, giving it time, it was probably like somewhere week 5, I'm going to say week 5, where there was like a little whoosh. And I was like, oh, there was actually, I was noticing things along the way. Like I was noticing feeling stronger, feeling more energized, feeling less tired, actually sleeping a little bit better. So a lot of markers were telling me that what was happening was working, but like the things I was looking for, I didn't see yet. And I was like, okay, just keep doing the things here. Okay, it's Tuesday, do this workout, go lift those weights. And yeah, then the other things started to happen. I'm like, okay, I'm noticing a little less poof, a little less bloating in the belly, and I'm seeing things tighten up. And then on top of that, I'm eating a lot of good food, and on top of that, I have more energy, and on top of that, I'm getting stronger. Okay, I'm in. I'll keep doing it.
I love that you pointed that out. There's different metrics to track just besides whatever your thing is. And this is why we ask people for multiple points every week in our check-in forms. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to get your scale to go down, but we need to see these other things too, because we need to know how your metabolism is responding. The scale is not an accurate portrayal of what's going on with your body. You didn't get where you are in 1 week. And you're not going to undo it in 1 week. But everybody's like, but I need to see progress every week. And I'm like, well, you will, but you may or may not see that happen on the scale. It depends on what's going on with your body. You need other checkpoints to know if what you're doing is actually working.
Yes. And they're certainly not all scale and number related. And they're not even necessarily all the things you see. Yeah.
Not right away.
Right. For sure. Yeah. I have to tell you a funny story that made me think of this. So this is probably it's probably about 10 years ago. I was working out at a gym. I was also running a ton. Like I started going to this gym. I was training for a half marathon. So I was running a lot. And I had some friends. I'm like, I need to do something. I need to like change it up. I need to do something different. I just need to do something different. I don't know. I was a little bit bored. So go to this gym. They do, they like strength training and like circuit training boot camp, if you will. And I started doing some strength training there, but I'm still running a ton, but this is to complement this training. And I was very lean. I looked very strong, and I looked very like, and I didn't really feel that strong. And at the time, my kids, they both well, they're not anymore. They're retired swimmers because they're both out of college. But at the time they were in probably middle school-ish. I'm trying to think 10 years ago, middle school, early high school, and swim meets. And so we were doing hospitality for the meets. We're providing all the food and drinks and stuff for the coaches. And we have to haul in all this food and, these big bags of ice, and we're carrying these heavy boxes. And my husband and I were carrying these big, like 50-pound bags of ice, and he hands one to me. And I was like, oh, that's heavy. And then he's like, you can only carry one. And I was like, I can barely even carry this one. He says, but you're going to the gym and you're doing all this strength training. Like, I thought you'd be stronger. And I said, right, like I should be. He goes, I don't know. I think I need to talk to someone about that. I said, yeah, but my whole goal, it's so interesting. I'm thinking about this. My whole goal was like, I just wanted to look strong. Like I didn't want to be strong. I just wanted to have this certain look. And now I think, how silly was that? I'm in there doing all these things. I'm basically running myself ragged. Like I'm doing all this cardio. I'm lifting these weights. I look really strong, but I don't want to say it was probably the weakest I ever was. I wouldn't go that far, but I was not strong.
Yes, strength and hypertrophy are different. They kind of go together, but not always. I love training for strength. When I first started doing strength training, which was through a CrossFit gym, but like we were like working on like what's your like deadlift PR and like all these types of things. And I specifically remember after I'd been going for like a year and I deadlifted, it wasn't much, but it was like 205, I think. And I'm like, whatever, I'm 5 foot tall. That's good enough. My husband needed something moved in the house and his friend was supposed to come over and he couldn't. And so he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this now. It's in the front yard. And I was like, we're going to take it in the house. And he was like, we're literally not going to take this in the house, Nikki. You're 5 foot tall. You weigh nothing. And I was like, how much does this thing weigh? It was like a big piece of furniture. I'm like, what does it weigh? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, unless it's more than 400 and you can't lift 200, we got it. So what's your problem? Can you not pick up 200 pounds? And he's like, oh my God. We took that thing in the house, ladies. Knowing how much you can pick up comes in handy, if for nothing else than to insult your husband and get his respect.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's funny when you said like how much you could deadlift. I think back to that time. I couldn't tell you, like I was, doing the sled, like I don't even know what I was doing. Like I was just doing, like I didn't care. I didn't care how much weight I lifted. I just was like in there doing the things, and I was not really getting stronger.
Yeah, I love training for strength. Love it. And so when I couldn't do that for the past year, I mean, I could still do a little bit, but not like that. Now I don't care as much. I don't care what my PRs are. I do want to be strong. Now I'm to this point where I just care more about longevity. Like,
absolutely.
I got to keep my knees working. I got to keep my nervous system cooperating with me. So it's fine to have different goals.
Yeah.
Do rock out whatever you want to rock out, but be clear on what your goal even is.
For sure. Yeah. It's interesting. I had been struggling with some lower back pain, and, then I get into this. Well, I had people say, well, you shouldn't, don't lift weights because, that's going to strain. That's probably why your back hurts. That's what I got told. And I was like, I don't really think so. Because when I'm not doing anything, like we went on vacation, all we did was walk. Like I didn't pick up anything heavy. I just walked every day. My back still hurt. So clearly that's not the issue. But in this past 7 weeks, my back pain, I'm going to knock on something because I'm a little superstitious. But my back pain is so much better. And that's, with lifting weights, doing strength training, and, not beating up my body. It's amazing. It's amazing what a little kindness and compassion and self-love can do for you in terms of, your health and longevity and all of those things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We don't have to be super aggressive, ladies. Some of y'all do need to be more aggressive. We're all in different points, but if you're like, I ate a cupcake, so now I have to go sweat until I vomit at the gym, and
no, this
is not the way.
Definitely not.
I'm so excited for where you're at in your own health journey, but
I know it is exciting.
Even more so that you're now sharing it with everybody in the Keep It Off Academy.
Yes, so I am thrilled to be here. So it's such an amazing group of women who, like on Friday, they're dropping wins and celebrations left and right. So,
and then it continued on to Saturday, unprovoked, and like everybody just dropping things in. And then I got like 2 private messages sent to me also on Saturday. And I was like, I don't know I mean, we always have wins, but like, this is like insane. And like the mindset shifts and like women posting that like, oh my gosh, okay, yes, I've lost 40 pounds, but I'm a whole different human. Like I can't even fathom the thought processes that I used to have. And I'm just like sitting on my couch at my girlfriend's house because she's not here. I'm house sitting, all like, bah! My husband's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, it's so amazing.
Yeah. Listen, ladies, with all the right pieces, when you have that support and you have the tools and you are able to piece that together in a way that works for you,
you can't not win at it.
Right.
It's 100%. Impossible. The only way that it doesn't work is if you quit. and go chase after a diet. You have to be patient.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing of it. But like, look at Debbie, you wouldn't have lost that menopause pooch that you had if you kept doing the classical things. So it took maybe a little bit, it sort of took longer this way. If you guys aren't watching me on video, I may have rabbit ears. Because did it? No, because what she was doing wasn't working anyways.
Right.
That's the thing. Everybody's like, well, I got to lose this much. Or, well, I specifically ask people before they join Keep It Off, how fast does this weight have to come off for you to be satisfied? And if somebody's metabolism sounds slow, I straight up say, I might not get your scale moving for a long time. Months. If you've been eating 500 calories a day for a decade, it's going to be months. And then some people, it's immediate. We make like one tweak and they're like, nothing I do works. There's no way you're going to get my body to lose weight. We make one tweak, boom, scale starts flying and it just keeps on going.
Yeah.
But if what you're doing isn't working, do you have another choice? You eventually have to play nice with your body.
Yes. Yes. That is, I mean, and I think that at the end of the day, that is probably the biggest message and mindset shift and piece of growth that, has been happening for a long time. And I mean, it, like you said, it continues to happen. I mean, sometimes I feel like it can be a daily struggle where, you're like, oh, what's between the ears is really getting you. But is to come to this place where you are acting not only in alignment with what you really want and what your goals are, but like you're also allowing it to come from a place of compassion and love and acceptance and really nourishing your body. And when you are able to do that from that place with those pieces, you're not just nourishing your body, but you're nourishing your mind, your heart, your soul. I mean, and it's all connected. It's all connected.
Oh my gosh, you don't even know this, but I put this in our email today that's going out to our girls on Sunday about swear. You don't know that. I wrote it like 3 hours ago, but how it's all connected. And that it's true. And when you can, because here's what'll happen for those of you who are like, yeah, I don't care about any of that. I only care about losing weight. Here's why you do care. Because when you do it the way that Debbie just described, where you're coming from this place of like wanting to respect your body, do right by your body, the weight comes off. It comes off. It comes off in a better way. You don't feel deprived. Your body feels stronger and more energized. You're not the crabby mom who's on a diet. You have more patience because you feel better. It affects literally everything. And it's the only way to keep weight off. It's the only way. If you keep chasing a number on the scale and doing random diets and random things, and I'm just going to do this program where they give me their pellets to eat every 2 hours, or I'm going to live off cabbage soup, or whatever you're doing. I'm not even mocking you guys. I've tried them all myself. The weight won't stay off. It's coming from the wrong place. It's not sustainable. It's not even what your body wants. And it's not even that our metabolism doesn't slow down when we're 50. Research shows it doesn't. But what happens is your body gets sick of all the diets. And she's like, well, I've been putting up with your shit long enough. And now that all my estrogen is depleting because of menopause, I'm not going to do this with you anymore. Yeah. I tell the girls, I'm like,
we're not friends.
Yeah, we're not friends anymore. I'm not doing this. You're going to play nice with me or we're done here. I tell the women all the time, I'm like, it's kind of like how women get better at having boundaries with age. So does your metabolism. She's not quitting. She didn't even slow down. She's just sick of your bullshit. And she's establishing boundaries.
She's telling you no.
Yes. Yep. All right. Well, Debbie, you are a gem. Thank you so much for joining the team and for coming here to talk with the ladies today. I hope that you all got lots of golden nuggets from this. I feel motivated myself by Debbie right now. So maybe I'll go do something nice for myself today.
Yes, definitely do. It was my pleasure to be here. And I am so excited and just looking forward to all the good things that are coming.
All the good things. All right, listeners, we'll see you next week.